Okay. Um, let's start with the first point about the disciples of Srila Prabhupada and the situation of not having so many books. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada is, predicted in the Bhagavatam and in the Chaitanya Mangala as the Senapati Bhakta for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, yes, those disciples are very special, and maybe eternal associates of Prabhupada to join in his preaching as getting the fully conditioned souls for Lord Chaitanya. So obviously those personalities are very special, and may even be part of the pastimes of Prabhupada in his spreading of Krishna consciousness from east to west. Yes, very dedicated. I heard, I think it was, I can't remember which god brother of Srila Prabhupada it was, but he was telling the disciples of Prabhupada that the main thing that he taught you was Guru Bhakti, like very strong Guru Bhakti, like the dedication to the Guru. And Prabhupada expressed that in India when the Western disciples first came to India and did everything in not the most cultural way and maybe unclean. And he told, it probably was God brothers or whoever was there, he says, no, don't fault them on that, because their main quality is that they'll do whatever I say. Whatever I want, they'll always try and do. So it seems to be like that's the factor that overrides all our miscomings. And they could fully understand that they knew nothing. It was very easy to understand that way. And especially next to Prabhupada and in a crazy time of the 60s Vietnam War and LSD and whatever else, the youth were completely deluded in the US. That they didn't really have hope in just doing the regular, get rich, make money, and have a family. No, they were trying to go against it. So they didn't have anything going for them until Prabhupada came. And obviously Prabhupada, they could see, was an ordinary personality. And Prabhupada, being so powerful, could cut through all the ignorance and just elevate them. My spiritual master has forced open my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. So they felt that they were born in the darkness of ignorance, the darkest of ignorance. Brahmananda, my spiritual master, Kadamba Kamaraj, always likes this, tell this story of Brahmananda was speaking at a disappearance, the disappearance of Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And someone asked a question saying that, I think he was like South American, so English wasn't so good. And he said, like, yes, you love Prabhupada. To you, Prabhupada is God. Ramananda straight away said, no, no, no. So if you remember the Vrindavan incident in New Vrindavan, they were nearly, he was one of the four sannyasis who were preaching, like, yes, Prabhupada is Krishna, and we didn't recognize, yeah, so they made a mistake and they got punished a little bit, and anyway, they got back into ISKCON. So yes, Brahmananda said, no, I've made that mistake before. Prabhupada is not God. Prabhupada is as good as God. But now I think that Prabhupada is better than God. Why? Because he came to the lower east side and saved me. And then he started crying. So you can see Prabhupada, he understood, I'm in the darkest place of ignorance. And this person came all the way there, forced open my eyes open with transcendental knowledge. He came with the Bhagavatam. It's just like inconceivable, mystical, the whole thing. To sort of wrap our brain, like, what was the factors that took place that they could end up developing so much devotion to Prabhupada. I don't know how we have so much devotion to Prabhupada. We never even met directly, but we feel it. You know, he's talking to us through the Gita, through the Bhagavatam, giving us this whole worldwide movement. You know. We feel it too. And obviously, like we may not match ourselves against them. And many of our Prabhupada disciples would say that it's harder now to be a devotee than back then. Then Rita Maharaj, he has a seminar called Cracking a Western City. So he was saying that most young people can't read books anymore. Their attention span is not enough. But in the 60s and 70s, it was very easy for like someone to read a big, thick book like this. It was normal. That's what you did then. But now, like, to read a 100-page book or a 60-page book, it maybe take them 2 years. You know, can I watch the movie, or is there a short for it? You know. So now we have to help people read the books, even devotees. I think that was the main criticism of Prabhupada, that my disciples don't read my books enough. Because that's where there's no, when you read more, you're not confused anymore. So there's a lot of advantages and there's a lot of disadvantages. But like Prabhupada said to the Indians, or who are the God brothers or other like Brahmins, so yes, don't fault them, don't find too much fault if they can't be culturally up to standard, but they'll do whatever I say. So at least we can live with that. We can live with the fact that, okay, we have these disadvantages, but we have the opportunity to dedicate more to the spiritual master. And how do we make that step? I think we can just start hearing more of the spiritual master's lectures. Now everything's recorded. Now every Swami's lecture is recorded and online pretty much right away. And even if it's like from 20 years ago, I'm hearing like lectures from my spiritual master from 20 years ago. And it's like it's relating to now, here and now. I'm like, okay. So this is the nature of the instruction, and you can't hear it enough. And that's what usually happens when I drop off the hearing, when I drop off the reading. That's when we get distracted and unenthusiastic. So we need to bring in more hearing of the instructions of the spiritual master through his lectures. And if we can say him directly, we always have to make that endeavor. And to understand, we are born in the darkest of ignorance, that we have nothing going on for us and we need his help. We have to be open to understand that we can't do it, and he will push it. We need to allow him to push us in the right direction. I think your question is a class in itself. maybe a whole week seminar, you know, the relationship. So I'm so sorry I cannot give a more.
No, Prabhu, you don't have to say you're sorry. I think you did an excellent justice to my question, with examples. And actually, when you were talking about when Srila Prabhupada said, well, I can make you better than God, it reminded me of a similar statement Srila Prabhupada had made. Somebody had approached Srila Prabhupada that, okay, Swamiji, I understand you are very great, you are very powerful. Can you make me God? And Srila Prabhupada says, I cannot make you God, but I can make you superior to God. And then he gave the examples how Nanda Maharaj would ask Krishna to go carry his sandals, and Krishna would carry his sandals on his head. He says, you see, so who is superior? But so thank you so much for the answer to my question. It makes a lot of sense. And I am just praying and trying my best to follow the instructions of the Guru and the Acharyas, because that is our lifeline, nothing else. So thank you. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, please. I would suggest if we can ask our questions quick enough so that we can give Prabhuji some time for him to take a little break.
No, I'm okay. Don't worry. Because after Harinam, it takes about 2 hours to get to bed anyway, like before you get tired. So I'm still buzzing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Srimad-Bhägavatam Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All glory unto your Lord. So we quite appreciate your effort giving us this very wonderful lecture. It's really enlightening, and we so much appreciate it. So in today's text, when we look at the purport, the last sentence of the purport, we stated that in the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master, and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. But practically, or most of the time, the first encounter anyone has is maybe when it came across a devotee. It will be much of later that you could have the opportunity to get a close contact with the spiritual master. So what's the situation of such people? And I don't know.
So if I understand the question correctly, is it that we need to inquire from the spiritual master how to do devotional service, but we may not get so much personal contact with the spiritual master or opportunities to ask personally, right?
Yes, initially.
That's your answer. That's the question. Yes, my spiritual master says when he's giving lectures, he's speaking publicly but intimately. So the instructions that seem to be for maybe for like a general public, it actually intimately we can apply them personally. So if that makes sense, that even though it looks like he's speaking publicly, the instructions are purely personally for you. But obviously we do need the Bapu, we do need the personal association. And so we take opportunities for that. And within those interactions, we may get a personal instruction, but most of our instructions are just following in the line of Prabhupada, like the chanting 16 rounds and 4 regular principles, reading of the books, doing devotional service under some temple authority. So Sometimes the spiritual master just says, yes, please follow your temple authority or local authority. They may instruct that way. But if you do still have, now we have the internet, so you can do always WhatsApp and email and stuff. So the thing is, when you're maybe like, say you have a local authority and then you have your ultimate authority, spiritual master. So if you're unsure, like the idea is that you follow your local authority as long as it follows the line of your spiritual master's instruction. So if you're unsure if your local authority is instructing you in the right way or the wrong way, then you can check with your Diksha Guru, with your spiritual master. It's like, but if it's in line, then you should follow it, no problem. Yeah, usually we want to find an excuse not to follow local authority, and we use the excuse like, well, you're not my guru. No, if the spiritual master, if the spiritual master said, no, I want you to follow your local authority, and especially if the local authority is instructing you in such a way that it doesn't deviate from the mood and the thoughts of Prabhupada and your spiritual master, then you should follow. If you don't follow, yes, then you're like a rascal creating problems. But if the local authority may instruct in such a way where it doesn't fall in line, you're thinking it doesn't fall in line, so you still have to be respectful. Ask the spiritual master in an open way, and then the spiritual master will say, yes, you don't need to follow, or yes, you must follow. If he says you don't need to follow, please do not go back to the local authority. He says, no, I will not do this. My guru said this. I don't want to do it. That's what you don't do. You're allowed to disagree in a respectful way. So we say, I'm so sorry. I'm happy to do any other services that you asked me to do, but this particular one doesn't fall in line with what my spiritual master wants me to do. I'm very sorry, but I'm happy to do any other service that you wish me to do. Maybe you can give it to someone else. Maybe I can find someone else for it. So we try and find a way that, because that local authority is also given to you by Krishna as well. I don't know if you noticed that most of the time we are with devotees that we think that if we met them outside of devotional service, I would never hang out with them. They're very different personalities. But no, Krishna puts us with these particular personalities so we can grow, so we get purified, so we can execute devotional service better. So I hope I've covered some bases there.
Thank you very much. I'm much satisfied with your answer. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your question. It's a very important question, actually. So
very important, yes, very, very important.
Yeah.
And like Madhavan Prabhu said, you did very good justice to the question. Because without mentioning names, I have had such experiences a couple times where an advanced devotee or guru had asked me to take a particular action, which, to my understanding, at the time, should not be doing exactly what the advanced devotee was telling me. And I tried to respectfully explain myself, but they were still pushing. So Well, I let it go, but I still went ahead and did what I felt I had to do. So, like you were saying, I think this actually should remind us how important it is for all devotees to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Not just reading, but studying Srila Prabhupada's books. Because whatever we are doing is based on what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. So if we know what Srila Prabhupada has said, what Srila Prabhupada encourages, discourages, and even though our senior devotee may be telling us something contrary to what Srila Prabhupada has said, then we can ask respectfully for the devotee to explain why his instruction seems contrary to what Srila Prabhupada has given us. So thank you so much for the answer. Like you said, it's a very important topic, and I think you did very good justice to the question. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Sadhu Prabhu.
Hey, Salika Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Thank you very much, Harinanda Prabhu, for this sacrifice. We truly appreciate your sacrifice for coming onto the platform. That was very great. And someone else could say that, well, I've been engaged in service all day, so Krishna will understand. So we appreciate your sacrifice to go to extra mile to give this class. I just wanted to respond to Sadh's Prabhu's comment just now, because I think it's a follow-up with Madhusudan Prabhu's question. Madhuvan Prabhu's question. I think sometimes we misuse the word advanced devotee and senior devotees interchangeably, which doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Someone could be an advanced devotee and be a senior devotee, but a senior devotee does not necessarily mean an advanced devotee. Because our understanding of senior devotees means that someone has come 10 years, 20 years, 5 years ahead of us. So it's our senior god brother. But an advanced devotee will never have a different opinion from the opinion of Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya. Because Srila Prabhupada never had a different opinion on any subject matter different from his own predecessor. So my thinking is that if someone is a senior devotee and is instructing us something relatively or scripturally different from what Srila Prabhupada has taught, that person may be a senior devotee, but the word advanced devotee cannot be ascribed to that kind of a person. We admit he's a senior person, but it necessarily does not mean he's an advanced devotee. So my point here is that we should not lose the meaning of the both words, because they mean two different things entirely. That was just the comment I wanted to give. I hope it makes some sense.
It makes
Sense. My experience when dealing with these confrontations, especially like we have this term in Harinam Ruchi, say like with a manager we have a disagreement, we just call it pastimes. Yeah, we had some pastime, but it doesn't mean like we don't have a good relationship. Many times it may happen that that happened to me, that there's someone who's an authority, a manager somewhere, and we've clashed due to like I need to do my service for my spiritual master. He needs to do his service to manage a temple. So then we clashed at that point. But then personally, we're friends, no problem. Like, we don't have ill feelings towards each other. We're each other's well-wishers. So it's only in Krishna consciousness you can do that. It's amazing. I was surprised. Because usually when you have a clash with someone, you can't be friends. But, you know, somehow we're able to separate. Okay, our services may clash, but us each other, appreciate each other as being devotees. Because there's not many of us, so we might as well give each other a break. Have good relationships.
Well, Shri Salika Prabhu, thank you so much for the sharing. And I honestly agree to what you're saying, that there is a difference between a senior devotee and an advanced devotee. Because I think it was Guru Govinda Maharaj or somebody, I think Guru Govinda Maharaj, he had his first, second, and the sannyas initiation almost all together. You see, all together. There are some devotees who got first and second initiation at the same time. And there are others, it took them years upon years upon years to have their first initiation. Sometimes, especially depending on where the devotee was practicing his devotional service, it could be political. Because I very well remember my second initiation had some political thing around it. But I did get it anyway. So we should try to separate a senior devotee from advanced devotee. Nevertheless, we try as much as possible to give respect to each and everyone, regardless whether someone is senior, advanced, even so-called non-devotees, we still give them respect. So, but the differentiation and categorization cannot be ignored. So thank you for sharing that. And Harinamananda Prabhu, it's very nice you spoke the way you spoke, because I very well remember, there is no way I can forget, and I pray I don't forget. The last Sangha we had with your precious Guru, His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj, on this very platform, he said something to us. You know, when you were speaking, you were saying sometimes, if not all the time, the spiritual master may speak as if he's speaking to the public, but he's speaking to the disciples also. So Maharaj was saying that we all need to eat. Actually, I'm thinking of writing some write-up in this regard, that we all need to eat in order to have energy and survive. So that is what is giving us energy. But after we've eaten and filled our belly, we know we are full, then we take some dessert. The dessert is not what is giving us the energy. You know, if we just eat dessert, then we will become malnutritious. And so Maharaj was saying that Srila Prabhupada's books are the main food for ISKCON devotees. We are not ignoring or disrespecting other acharyas or even our previous acharyas' writings, but they are desserts. But slowly, I am seeing in ISKCON that, unfortunately, it happens frequently where when devotees are speaking, they make references to previous acharyas much more than they do with Srila Prabhupada, which I find something important for us to remember to refrain from. So thank you for helping me remember what your precious Gurudev, His Holiness Kanana Swami Maharaj shared with all of us. And I'm trying to remind and also encourage other devotees that we all try to follow suit. That Srila Prabhupada's books are the first and the foremost, and all other books and teachings are desserts. If you have something to add to that, Harinam Prabhu, please you may do so. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhupada, I think it was in the end of the Madhya or Anchalila. He said that if one doesn't read the books, then they'll simply eat, sleep, and fall down. Purport. Do you know that purport? Is it Anchalila or Madhya? It's at the end.
I don't recall, but I remember that particular statement.
Maybe I can find it. But yeah, so it's a serious thing. It's even though one may not understand what they're reading, that's okay. But by the simple service activity, by trying to read them, Krishna within the heart will arrange. This is my spiritual master said. He says, I remember reading Bhagavatam and I didn't understand the purports. But then when I was doing service and being out in the world, it was like Krishna arranged things in such a way where I could understand what I read. And I've seen that too. Sometimes I tell devotees, you must read Srimad-Bhägavatam. It's like putting rocket boosters in your spiritual life. Because Krishna in the heart is understanding that, oh, you're trying to know about me? So you're reading the words of the pure devotee. You don't understand. So he arranges the world in such a way that you'll live the purport itself. You'll be in the purport and he'll show you how it works. So that's the mysticism of hearing Bhagavatam and reading Bhagavatam. Like Bhagavatam class, the mysticism I found, especially when you ask a question in the class, Krishna in the particular class would come at the end. Like the question that you ask, he'll show the full answer that day of what you're trying to understand. And then if you're the one giving the class, then Krishna will test you if you actually follow what you said on the day. And yeah, it's like full purification takes place. If you're in the lower modes and you're in a bad mood, you get to hear exactly what you need to hear. It's yeah, the Bhagavatam's amazing.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. So, dear devotees, if you may agree with me, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Harinamananda Prabhu, for being with us today and sharing his love and wisdom with us. So you may unmute, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
His Grace Harinamananda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.